Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
So so before we begin the meeting, I would like to remind directors to rename your name, director, last name, right? Additionally, if you're late to the meeting and arrive after the meeting is called to order, please raise your hand to seek recognition. Your arrival time will be reflected on the minutes. If you're able, please try to have your camera on. Please also note that the board meetings are live streamed and recorded on the CSSA Facebook page. In this case, we're not live streaming, it's gonna be recorded just because of an error. But with that being said, I call the first meeting of the 2021-2022 CSSA Board of Directors to order at 1:03 p.m. We will now proceed to a roll call. Directors, please show your campus spirit when your name is called to signify your presence. If your name is pronounced incorrectly, please kindly correct us so that we can correctly state your name in the future. Vice Chair Alferos, will you please call the roll?
Yes, and seeing how this is our first time and there are a couple of names that are similar, I'll give the campus name as well as the director name. So, right. Bakersfield, Director Magana.
Showrunners.
Channel Islands, Director Rogerio.
Swim fast, swim together, go Dolphins.
Right. Chico, Director Young.
I'm here and I didn't prepare that.
Dominguez Hills, Director Matire.
Go Toros, and it's Martiri.
Martiri. All right. I'm noting that.
Thank you.
East Bay, Director Domino.
Absent.
Absent. Fresno, Director Alvarez. Right, absent. Fullerton, Director Samaniego.
What's up, Tusk's up?
Right. Humboldt, Director Magana.
Sorry, Humboldt is Director Director Finley.
Okay, perfect. Then Director Finley.
I'm present. Go Jacks.
Right. Long Beach, Director Darwin.
I'm standing in for Director Gonzalez.
Okay, perfect. And then,
Thank you.
right. Cal State LA, Director Marmaleo. Absent. Maritime, Director Hickam.
Currently standing in for Director Malish. Always ready, always willing. Go Cal Maritime.
Right. Monterey Bay, Director Bartondale Guffey.
Go Otters and wrapped up.
Okay. Northridge, Director Hay. Right. Absent.
Director Hay. He's here.
Go Matadors.
There we go. Okay. Because I think I saw him. All right. Pomona, Director, you're going to have to correct me on this one. Jamala Madaka.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Go Broncos.
Perfect. All right. Sacramento, Director Elizalde.
Fingers up, and it's Elizalde.
All right. Noting. Perfect. All right. San Bernardino, Director Ramos.
Go Yodis.
San Diego, Director Moore.
Go Aztecs.
San Francisco, Director Bowens.
City, go Gators.
San Jose, Director Core.
Burton up.
San Luis Obispo, Director Loari.
Ride high Mustangs.
San Marcos, Director Glorioso.
Stay true, bleed blue, go Cougars.
Sonoma, Director Brambilla.
Go Seawolves.
And then Stanislaus, Director Martinez.
Go Warriors.
All right. Chair Lou, we have quorum.
Okay, so just to kind of go back, so Fresno Director Alvarez is not here. Director Jackson, do you seek recognition?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we can just put Director Jackson for Fresno and then yes.
And I'll also be serving officially on the board of directors, not Director Alvarez. She'll be serving on the other two committees.
Yes, we'll note that for future references. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, she wasn't late. It was just we call. Okay, So we have a quorum. Thank you, Vice Chair Alfaro. So we will now proceed to the next item on our agenda, the consideration of the consent agenda, only containing the agenda for today's meeting. I will go ahead and share my screen to show you all the document or the agenda. Okay. So this is the agenda for today. Just the election of the committee members and then an information item. All right, does any member wish to take an item out of the consent agenda for separate consideration? Seeing none, is there any objection to the approval of the consent agenda? If so, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing no objections, the consent agenda has been approved by unanimous consent. Going into public comment. So the next item before the board is public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for members of the public to directly address the legislative body on any items affecting higher education at the campus or statewide level. If you wish to address the body at this time, please raise your hand. We'll give it a couple more seconds. If any members of the public are here and wish to address the body through public comment, please raise your hand. Seeing no one from the public. Okay, yeah, so seeing none, we will move on to the next item. So we will now begin with our new business items for today's meeting. Item A is action item, so the election of the members of the audit committee. So before we get into the item, we're going to, I know a lot of you had questions regarding the ballots. So we're going to I'm going to share my screen to kind of show you how it's going to work so that you all are comfortable when you're using the ballots to vote for the committee elections. So Brandon, are you ready? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So I'm going to go on Bakersfield just to use them as an example on their ballot so that you all can see how, because it's going to be the same on your end. Okay. All right, so this is the ballot for Bakersfield. Stephanie, don't mind using it. I reset it, but this is that it's going to look exactly the same on yours, except yours is not going to say Bakersfield. So basically, right now you see it's empty, right? When I take nominations, so I'm going to be doing that on the back end, which is what Brandon's going to be doing right now. So let's say, I'll just throw out some nominations so Brandon can input it so that we can see how it works. So let's say for the audit committee, I want to nominate, candidate Alvarez. Put that in. I want to nominate candidate Gonzalez. I want to nominate candidate Young. I want to nominate see if I remember candidate Hay.
Okay.
4
I
people.
think we get to a smaller number.
Because this is 2 people. So let's just, for example, let's do 4. Or is 3 good, Brandon? Okay.
This is good.
Okay. So basically, you know, as you guys are doing nominations, as I will be inputting it in the back end, and you will see it on your ballot. So after nominations, what I'm going to do is allow each of the candidates to speak to the board for 1 minute. Just basically explaining why they want to serve in the committee, et cetera, et cetera. After that is complete, we will head straight in. I'll allow governing members to the board to ask questions if you have any. Otherwise, we will head straight into a vote. And when that happens, I will say, I will now open your ballot, which Brandon will do right now. Right, as you can see right now, voting open, it says no under round 1, right? So when I say I'll open your ballot, it will say voting open yes, and then you will then be able to vote. So I'll ask you to vote for 1 person, or yeah, I'll ask you to vote for 1 person out of this list, right? So let's say I want to vote for candidate Alvarez, and then another campus votes for candidate Alvarez, and another person votes for candidate Alvarez, right? Let's pretend candidate Alvarez gets a majority of the vote, and candidate Gonzalez gets the second most votes. So because so let's say candidate Alvarez gets the most number of votes, and candidate Gonzalez gets the second number of most votes. Neither candidate having received a majority, let's say that's the case, both of them will put Caroline and Jesus into round 2, and then you guys will vote from there, right? And then we'll choose one member out of those 2. And then let's say Caroline wins, Jesus doesn't, then Jesus, Duncan, and Jonathan will go to round 3, and then we'll just basically be going back and forth until we fill the membership of the committee. Does that make sense for everyone? Brandon, do you have anything to add?
No, I think it'll make more sense for people if we just start and then they'll kind of be able to track what's happening.
Yes. All right. So with that, then let me exit Bakersfield's ballot, and then can you reset everything? Yeah. And then I'll reset.
So I just want to clarify, everybody has their ballots open and has access to them. Is that right? Because if we're missing one person, we're gonna have to figure something out. All right.
Yeah, and by the way, what's the number for majority right now? Because we have two campuses absent, so that would be 21 directors present. So would we need 11? We would need 11 for majority, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm not counted in there, right? So it's like I'm not counted in terms of the total members present.
Not for this purpose.
Okay, sounds good. So basically 11 is majority. So if a candidate receives 11, then they are elected to the committee. All right, so let's actually go straight into it, and then we'll be able to figure out any questions if anyone has any. Okay, so we will now be electing members to the audit committee. Remember, only governing members of CSSA may be nominated and serve as a member of a committee. In just a moment, I will take nominations from the board for members of the committee. Any board member may nominate themselves or another governing member. If a board member nominates another governing member, I will ask that governing member if they wish to accept the nomination. They may indicate their acceptance of the nomination by raising their hand when called. If they are not here, that's fine. As long as you have verbally confirmed with them that they are willing to serve if elected, that will be taken as well. Once all nominations have been made, each candidate will have up to 1 minute to address the board as to their interests and qualifications. After all candidates have spoken, pending any questions from members of the board, we will conduct a roll call vote using the ballot system I just showed you. In order to be granted membership to the committee, a member must receive a majority vote by the board. We will proceed with several rounds of elections if need be, and I will guide you through the entire process. Are there any questions regarding the election process? Okay, seeing none, I will now take nominations for membership of the audit committee. Director please have to correct me. Director Jamal Madaka.
I would like to nominate candidate Young from Chico State for the audit committee.
Okay. Candidate Young, do you accept? Raise your hand. Okay. Director Jackson.
Yeah, I would like to nominate candidate Jacqueline Campos Ledesma. She currently is in as an attendee and not as a panelist.
Okay. So candidate Campos Mendoza Fresno. Okay. For the audit committee. Okay. Are there any other nominations or for the audit committee? I see. Yes, she accepted Campos. Okay, so seeing that there are only 2 nominations and there's only 2 seats, in this case, we're not going to use the ballot. Is that okay? And we'll just go ahead and do a unanimous approval. Is that okay, Brandon?
Yeah, you'll just need to state the full
Yes.
consent item, and you have a hand.
Oh, Director Jackson.
I was just going to make a motion, if possible, to bypass the election and to accept both nominations as is, since there's not a need for an election.
Yes, we don't.
I second the motion to bypass the ballot and simply unanimously accept the nominations.
Yes, we don't need a motion for this. I will state the candidates and I will see if there are any objections. Is that okay? Okay,
Yes, we just need the second candidate's name hasn't been input.
yes. Oh, you mean into the sheets?
Yes.
Okay, let me do that right now. Campus. What's Caroline? Well, no. What's her name? Let me see. What's the first name again, Director Jackson? Oh, Jacqueline. Got it. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay, sounds good. So, is there any objection to the? Someone just deleted it. How come the name just?
That means we may not have their paperwork. Is that?
I thought I received the paperwork and she's the governing member.
Okay, then you can go ahead and we can.
Yes. So, is there any objection to the appointment of candidate Duncan Young of Chico State and candidate Jacqueline Ledesma of Fresno State for membership on the audit committee? Seeing no objections, the appointment of those two candidates is confirmed by unanimous consent. All good, Brandon?
Yes, you are.
All right. So if we could, Vice Chair Alvarez, if you could just notate that in the sheet, that'd be great. All righty. Moving on. We're all new to this, so no worries. So we will now move on and proceed to the election of members of the Finance Committee. All right. So I will just repeat everything I said so that everyone's clear. In just a moment, I will take nominations from the board for members of the committee. Any board member may nominate themselves or another governing member. If a board member nominates another governing member, I will ask that governing member if they wish to accept the nomination. They may indicate their acceptance of the nomination by raising their hand when called. Once all nominations have been made, each candidate will have up to 1 minute to address the board as to their interest and qualifications. After all candidates have spoken, we will conduct a roll call vote. In order to be granted membership to the committee, a member must receive a majority vote by the board. We'll proceed with several rounds of elections if need be. Are there any questions? Director Martire.
It's Martiri.
Martiri.
So we can nominate somebody that's not a governing member, correct? Or no?
No, only governing members may be nominated to serve. Yep. Okay. So I will now take nominations for membership of the Finance Committee. There are a total of 6 seats for the Finance Committee. Okay. Director Martiri. Go ahead. Oh, you don't have, okay. Director Young.
I would like to nominate Director Finley of Humboldt State.
Director Finley, do you accept the nomination?
I accept.
Great. Director Jackson.
I would like to nominate member Jose Medina III of Fresno State.
Candidate Medina III, do you accept? Please raise your hand if so. Oh, is he? Okay. Got it. We'll also need to put candidate Medina back into the attendees, by the way. Okay. Director Jamaladaka.
I would like to nominate candidate Jonathan Molina Mancino.
Okay, Jonathan Molina, candidate Molina Mancino, do you accept the nomination? Got it, okay. Director Hickam.
It's Director Hickam, and I would like to nominate candidate Yates to the Finance Committee. He is not present in this meeting, but I have received his verbal consent that should he be elected, he would be willing to participate and serve on the committee.
Got it. So we currently have 4 nominations. We have 2 more seats to fill. Are there any other nominations by directors? Director Moore. Or yeah, Director Moore.
I'd like to nominate myself.
Okay. Director Bartondale Guffey.
I would also like to nominate myself.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for the Finance Committee? Any other nominations? Okay, seeing none. Let me go ahead and- We're going to do the same thing as we did last time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to read all the names of the candidates nominated, and we'll do a unanimous consent if there's no objection, because we have 6 seats and only 6 nominations. So candidates Jeremiah Finley of Humboldt State, candidate Jose Medina III of Fresno State, candidate Jonathan Molina Moncio of Cal State Dominguez Hills, candidate William Yates of Cal Maritime Academy, candidate Shockey Moore of San Diego State, candidate Victoria Bartondale Guffey of Cal State Monterey Bay. Is there any objection to the appointment of those candidates to the Finance Committee? Okay, so seeing no objections, the candidates whose names I just read have been appointed to the Finance Committee. Congratulations. Alrighty, so moving on to our next committee, which is the Internal Affairs Committee. Does anyone want me to repeat the instructions, or is everyone clear? Okay, so should I repeat it again, Brandon, or?
No, you're fine.
Okay, got it. So for the Internal Affairs Committee, I will now take nominations for membership of that committee. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so Director Hickam.
I would like to nominate myself for Internal Affairs.
Got it. Director Bowens.
I would like to nominate member Philpott from San Francisco State University. And they're also in the attendees right now.
Candidate Philpott, got it. Okay, I saw the confirmation. Director Young.
I would like to nominate Director Jamala Madaka from Cal Poly.
Okay, Director, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
Got it. Okay. So directors, after I call you, please lower your hand. Director Lori.
I'd like to nominate member Gupta from Cal Poly Slow. He's also in the attendee section.
Candidate Gupta, I see you raise your hand. Got it. Sounds good. Director Jamal Lamadaka.
I would like to nominate Jeremiah Finley for the position in Internal Affairs.
Director Finley, do you accept the nomination?
I accept.
Director Magana.
I'd like to nominate Ignacio Castillo from CSUB, and he is also in attendees.
Member Castillo, I'm sorry, Candidate Castillo, do you accept the nomination? Got it. Okay. Director Glorioso.
I would like to nominate Dylan Crivello of Cal State San Marcos, and he is also an attendee.
Okay, Candidate Crivello, do you accept the nomination? Thank you. Director Jackson.
I would like to nominate member Caroline Alvarez, who could not be here today, but did give me the ability to accept the nomination on her behalf.
Thank you. Director Ramos.
I would like to nominate myself.
Got it. Okay. Okay, are there any directors? Please, yeah, Director Elisdale, did you wish to make a nomination? If so, please raise your hand. I saw your.
No, that was an accident, sorry.
Okay. Director Ruggiero.
It's Rugerio.
Oh, sorry, Ruggiero.
No worries, thank you. And I'd like to nominate Director Young from Chico.
Director Young, okay, see you set. Okay. Does any, so any other nominations by any directors for the Internal Affairs Committee? Okay, so seeing no more nominations, allow me a moment to input this and verify the list, and then we will proceed with the election. So 1 second as I verify. So. Okay, so we have everyone on the list. So we have 6 seats for the Internal Affairs Committee. We have a total of 10 candidates. So we are going to proceed with the election, okay? So in just a moment, I will open the ballot okay, so actually for all directors, please go to your ballot and go to the Internal Affairs tab. So I'll give you all just a moment. On your end, do you all see the candidates listed? If I can get some thumbs up. Okay, sounds good. So I will, oh, actually, before I go to that, we have to do actually, I'm going to give each candidate 1 minute to address the board as to their interest and qualifications for the position. Okay, so we'll go by order of nominations. So the first person to speak is going to be candidate Hickam in 1 minute. Once you begin.
Am I good to begin?
Yes, sir. Yes, Director Hickam.
Thank you. My interest in internal affairs mainly lies in helping all CSU students. I wish to be a part of helping to amend the Constitution and the other rules and regulations so that they benefit all students and perhaps not a select few. I think that equality for all students, regardless of race, religion, gender, or anything else, is important. And that is what I hope to make sure that all the Constitution, rules, regulations, and any future rules and regulations conform to that standard.
Thank you, candidate.
Oh, thank you. That's thank you.
You have time if you want. Okay.
Just want to say thank you all for the consideration for my spot on internal affairs. And if I am elected, I will do my best to uphold what I have just said. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Hickam. Okay. Our next candidate is candidate Philpott. You have 1 minute to address the committee. Please unmute yourself and begin. She's in the attendees, so if we can allow her to speak. Could we unmute candidate Philpott so she can speak? Or so they can speak?
Hey y'all, my name is Dalia Philpott, or I go by Day. I use they them pronouns, and I want to be a part of the Internal Affairs Committee because more about the admin side of CSSA, and to better serve our CSU community. My first time hearing about CSSA was this year, and I want to come in and help change things and change this quiet narrative to help more students at large get involved and be a part of the change that we are trying to implement here. So. And currently I serve as San Francisco State's liberal and creative arts representative. So I guess that's one of my qualifications. So thank you.
Thank you, candidate Philpott. So just a point of clarification, actually, Director Finley, you actually won't be eligible to serve on the Internal Affairs Committee because you're a member, you've been elected to as a member of the Finance Committee. Yes.
Sorry, I just want to draw a clarification for that. It's just because it's the Internal Affairs and the Finance Committee, not because you can't be on more than one committee. It's
Correct.
just those two committees.
Yes. Okay. So sorry about that. And thank you, Vice President Malhotra, for catching that. Okay. So our next candidate we will hear from is candidate Jamala Madaka of Pomona. You have 1 minute.
Yes, I would like to be part of the Internal Affairs Committee because I want to help modernize processes so that more students can actually understand what's happening within CSSA. Instead of it just being a higher up thing, I want to make sure that students on campuses understand what's going on in an organization like this so they can be more involved. And along with that, I have experience crafting bylaws and working on constitutions, with being on the Rules and Policy Committee last year and on my ASI. And here we worked very hard for 3 hours every other Friday to get as many of these modernized and to be as fair and equitable for students at our university. So thank you for considering me for this position.
Thank you, candidate. We will hear next from candidate Gupta of San Luis Obispo. Please unmute and you may begin. Oh, we need candidate Gupta is an attendee, so we need to unmute him or let him speak.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to begin by thanking my president for the nomination. I have been part of drafting resolutions for student governments since high school, and I have continued this practice with my ASI last year. I have submitted position papers and interacted one-on-one with elected representatives at the state and federal level about policy differences and how they can help my local region. I hope the board finds me worthy of serving on the Internal Affairs Committee, and I hope to work on ensuring that all the laws and guidelines that we pass as part of CSSA are equitable to all and benefit all students. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Gupta. We will next hear from candidate Castillo of Cal State Bakersfield. Please, you may begin. Candidate Castillo, you may unmute yourself and begin.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So hi everyone, my name is Ignacio Castillo, and so I'm running for the Internal Affairs Committee because I believe that my past work within legislative affairs has really extended me to be a qualified individual for this position. I believe that the Internal Affairs Committee really reinforces what we stand as CSSA, and it really builds the foundation of what we can best do to serve students within our respective campuses. When I served as Vice President of Legislative Affairs last year, I had the opportunity to review our ASI organization's bylaws. In addition to that, I also had the opportunity to review my own codes for legislative affairs to best fit what we do as an organization in my university. And I know that I will do the best that I can to my ability to really reinforce that same work within internal affairs to, again, best reinforce what we do as CSSA and everything that we do when it comes to our constitution and our policies. And again, I would be honored to receive your vote for this nomination.
Thank you, candidate Castillo. We will next hear from candidate Crivello of Cal State San Marcos. You have 1 minute. He's in the 10. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dylan Crivello. I am the ASI president at Cal State San Marcos, and I use he, him, his pronouns. I am seeking to be appointed to or elected to this committee because I have past experience working within my own bylaws and trying to update those, as well as processing procedures for our board of directors and seeing how we can more effectively and efficiently serve students. Coming from an area that college access is not always available to most people from where I come from. So I'm very passionate about making sure that we are able as CSSA to effectively advocate for the needs of all 23 campuses and really collaborate to make higher education affordable and available to everyone who is willing to work for it.
Thank you, candidate Crivello. We will next hear from candidate Alvarez, who is not here, but candidate Director Jackson, would you like to speak in her place?
Yes. So thank you so much for considering having member Alvarez be a member of this committee. She is our current Vice President of External Affairs. She's also pursuing pre-nursing. And this candidate is very, very business oriented with a lot of drive and passion. This will be her first year in ASI. And she's super, super excited to just expand her horizons and learn more about CSSA as the Vice President of External Affairs. And to do that, she's just hoping to get involved in as many committees and different processes that CSSA has to offer. So this would be a phenomenal introductory opportunity for her to begin that process. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Jackson. Candidate Ramos, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. I just want to go ahead and thank you all for the opportunity. My name is Daisy Ramos. I am the ASI president for San Bernardino. I do a bit of background for my qualifications. I actually served as the Director of Internal Affairs for ASI prior to becoming ASI president. There I oversaw committees. I ensured all students were being represented. I was also on our ASI policy committee where we overlooked all bylaws. And I believe I would be a great asset to this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Ramos. We will now hear from our final candidate, Candidate Young. You have 1 minute.
Hi, everyone. So I think it's really important, the Internal Affairs Committee being kind of responsible for the internal documents. Being a group of 24 universities, it's hard for us to necessarily find how to work together best because we have so many different perspectives. And the Constitution and the policies are what guide us. And so it's really important that we put those together, clarify them, and just clearly define some of the roles. For example, the civic engagement officer, which reading through the Constitution is particularly clear. So that'll be, if elected, one of my personal priorities, clarifying. And then overall, just creating a more clear and cohesive and accessible kind of way to display the policies, because outside of the Constitution and the policy agenda, the internal policies aren't necessarily collected together in a easy to use way. So thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Young. We have now heard from all of the candidates running to be a part of the Internal Affairs Committee, and we will be voting now. So in just a moment, I will be opening the ballot for the Internal Affairs Committee Round 1 election. When it is open, please indicate your top choice for this for who you want to serve in the Internal Affairs Committee. So ballot number Round 1 has been opened.
And just a reminder that the successful candidate will need a majority vote.
Yes. Remember to please click outside of your cell once you have casted your vote so that it tabulates on my end.
My voting sheet is inoperable.
We'll do a voice vote then. Bakersfield, Humboldt, Bakersfield, please cast your vote. East Bay's not here, so we'll have to exit that. Bakersfield, Director Magana, could you please cast your vote? Okay, just got it. Okay, and Director Finley of Humboldt, could you please cast your vote? Director Finley? Okay. Okay. And then for Maritime, we'll go ahead and do a voice vote. Director Hickam, who are you voting for?
Myself, Internal Affairs.
Did you say yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so candidate Director Hickam votes for candidate Hickam. Are you going to input that, Brandon, or do you want me to?
Yeah, just give me one quick sec.
Okay. Okay, and Director Finley has casted as well. Okay, so let me see here. So all
Do you want me to
votes.
post the votes to verify?
Yes, could you please do that? Or yeah. So please look on the screen next to your campus. Please verify that you have voted, that your vote is correctly reflected on our end. If not, please raise your hand. Okay. So with that, we will go into a runoff election. Have no candidate having received the majority of the vote. Candidate Prabhat Jamal Madaka has received 7 votes, and the second candidate with the most votes is candidate Gupta. So we will do a runoff between them, and they will be placed in round 2. How come they're on number 3 and 4 right now? Is that fine? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The ballot is now open. Please cast your vote between candidate Jamal Ladaka and candidate Gupta. Director Hickam, are you unable to cast a vote again through the ballot?
Yes, my ballot is still inoperable.
Okay, who are you casting a vote for?
Candidate Gupta.
Okay, Maritime is candidate Gupta. Okay. So let's verify the votes. Okay. Okay. So with the votes cast, candidate Jamal Ladaka having received 17 votes and candidate Gupta having received 4 votes, candidate Jamal Ladaka has been elected to the Internal Affairs Committee having received the majority of the vote. We will now proceed to round 3 of the election. Let me know when it's ready, Brandon.
It should be ready.
Okay. So please, have we put back candidate Gupta? Okay, we have. So please, I will be opening round 3. Please select your candidate.
A quick question. Round 3 is empty for me.
Same here.
Likewise, round 3 is empty too.
1 second while we look at that. Is it good, Brandon? Are you on?
Not at this point. Why don't
Okay.
you go ahead and take a
Roll call vote?
roll.
Okay. So let me share my screen so that you all can see the candidates, okay? So round 3, these are the candidates. Everyone else has been placed back into the pool, by the way. Bakersfield, Director Magana, who do you cast your vote for?
Ignacio Castillo.
Okay. Dominguez Hills.
Day Philpott.
Fullerton.
Gupta.
Gupta. Maritime.
Candidate Hickam.
What's the first name?
John Robert.
Oh, John. For some reason, it's not populating right now, John. Can you work on that one? It's not populating for me. I'll go to the next one. Northridge.
Director Ramos.
Yeah, it's. Oh, Daisy, candidate Ramos, right?
Yes.
Okay. Pomona,
Duncan Young.
Sacramento,
Castillo.
okay. Can you do that, Brendan? She votes for Castillo. San Bernardino,
For myself, Director Ramos.
San Francisco,
Dave Philpott.
San Jose,
Daisy Ramos.
Stanislaus.
Candidate Ramos.
Okay, great. Please verify that your vote is correct. If anyone has an issue, just raise your hand. Okay. So if 21 votes cast, in order to have received a majority, a candidate must have received 11 votes. So because no candidate received a majority, candidate Daisy Ramos and candidate Gupta, Varenya Gupta, are proceeding into a round 4 runoff. One second while we update that.
Juan, if I could interject, wouldn't it be Dave Philpott since they got 3 votes and Gupta only got 2?
Sorry. Oh, wait, actually, let's verify it one more time. So round 3, no. So round 3, it's, so candidate Ramos received 6. Oh, so actually it would be candidate Ramos and candidate Young, because candidate Young received 4 votes. So I will share my screen to show you all, just so you guys can see. So here are the votes casted below, 21 votes, as you can see. And candidate Ramos received 6 votes and candidate Young received 4 votes. Are we all good? Okay, so I will now open the ballot for, why are there already votes cast? I haven't opened the ballot yet.
Yeah. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's accurate. Okay, are we all good to start?
I would just go ahead and take the hand vote.
Do a roll
Or
call?
count. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, no worries. So the candidates in this runoff are candidate Ramos and candidate Young. Bakersfield.
Daisy Ramos.
It's not populating, Brandon. Okay. Channel Islands.
Director Young.
Yeah. Okay. Chico.
Director Young.
Dominguez Hills.
Director Young.
Fresno.
Director Ramos.
Fullerton.
Director Ramos.
Humboldt.
Director Young.
Long Beach.
Director Ramos.
Maritime.
Director Ramos.
Monterey Bay.
Director Ramos.
Northridge.
Director Ramos.
Pomona.
Director Young.
Sacramento.
Director Ramos.
San Bernardino.
Director Ramos.
San Diego.
Director Ramos.
San Francisco.
Director Ramos.
San Jose.
Director Ramos.
San Luis Obispo.
Director Ramos.
San Marcos.
Director Ramos.
Sonoma.
Director Ramos.
Stanislaus.
Director Ramos.
Okay, please verify your votes. If there are any incorrect votes I tabulated, please let me know. Okay. So with 21 votes cast, in order to have received a majority, candidate must have received 11 votes. Candidate Daisy Ramos received 16 votes. Candidate Duncan Young received 5 votes. Candidate Daisy Ramos has been elected as the second member of the Internal Affairs Committee. Congratulations. Okay, we will now proceed to round 5 voting, where everyone else will be put back into the basket.
Let's try to give this one a go.
Okay. So I just want to make sure everyone's in there. Okay. So round 5 ballot has been opened. Please cast your vote. And remember to click out of your cell after you cast your vote so that it's reflected on my end. Okay, still waiting for Channel Islands to cast a vote. And I will take Maritime's vote by voice. Director Hickam, who do you cast your vote for?
I submitted it via ballot. My ballot is working again.
Okay, we got it. Thank you. Okay. We have received all votes. Let me share my screen to verify the votes. If your vote is casted incorrectly, please let me know for round 5. Okay, so seeing no issues, again, in order to have received a majority of the vote, a candidate must have received 11 votes. Seeing that no candidate received a majority of the votes, the top 2 candidates are heading to a runoff. That will be candidate Duncan Young and candidate Ignacio Castillo. I will now, and that will be in round 6. So I will now open that ballot. You may now cast your vote. Okay. So, San Marcos, please cast your vote. Okay. I will now share my screen to show the votes so that you all may see. Please let me know if there are any issues. Round 6. Any issues? Okay. Seeing no issues, to receive a majority of the vote, you must have received 11 votes. Candidate Castillo received 9 votes. Candidate Young received 12 votes. Candidate Young has been elected as the 3rd member of the Internal Affairs Committee. Before we continue with voting, I will ask for a motion to extend the meeting by 15 minutes because we are running out of time, because our meeting is scheduled to end at 2. Director Jackson?
I move to extend our meeting by 15 minutes.
Great. Do I have a second? Director, please don't unmute until I call on you so that we don't have the background noise, please. Director Jamala Daka?
I second that motion.
Second, great. Vice Chair Alferez, could you reflect this in the sheet, please? Thank you. And any discussion? Okay. Director Hickam, do you have a point of discussion? Director, no, okay. Seeing none, is there any objection to the extension of the meeting by 15 minutes? Seeing no objections, the meeting time has been extended until 2:15. Thank you. We'll now proceed with the vote. So I will now open the ballot for round number 7. Please go ahead and cast your vote. Chico, waiting for your vote. Humboldt, waiting for your vote. San Bernardino, and Maritime. Okay. Humboldt. Okay, so while we're waiting for Humboldt, let me share the screen. Please verify the votes are correct. Okay. So for round number 7, in order to have received a majority of the vote, a candidate must have received 11 votes. No candidate has received a majority of the votes. Therefore, the top 2 candidates will be in a runoff in round 8. That will be candidate Castillo and candidate Alvarez. Okay, I will now turn on the ballot for round number 8. Please go ahead and cast your vote. Chico, Humboldt, Maritime, and San Bernardino, please cast your vote. Maritime, who do you cast your vote for if you're not able to cast it?
Director Castillo.
Okay. All votes have been cast. I will now share my screen. Please verify that the vote is correct. Okay. In order to have received a majority of the vote, a candidate must have received 11 votes. Candidate Castillo has received 17 votes. Candidate Alvarez has received 4 votes. Candidate Castillo has been elected as the 4th member of the Internal Affairs Committee. Okay, we will now proceed to round 9 of voting. I will now turn on round 9 voting. Please go ahead and cast your ballot. Director Hickam, who do you cast your vote for?
I submitted my ballot.
All right, please verify the vote is correct. Okay. Candidate Hickam received 2 votes. Candidate Philpott received 6 votes. Candidate Gupta received 3 votes. Candidate Crivello received 4 votes. Candidate Alvarez received 6 votes. No candidate having received the majority. Candidate Alvarez, candidate Philpott, and candidate Crivello will be put into a runoff election. Since because for number 1 spot, candidate Alvarez and candidate Philpott are tied.
So it's just those 2.
Oh, I thought if we're tied, we put them all in there.
Not if they're for the final one.
Okay, no worries then. I will open that. I will turn off round 9 ballot and turn on. There's votes already put in there, even though I haven't opened the ballot yet.
I think some were just voting already.
It looks like the Z10 there is referencing round 9.
Oh.
Thank you for catching that.
Juan, I'm not sure if you're able to see, but Director Bowens has had his hand up.
Yes. Oh, sorry, I did not. Director Bowen?
Thank you. I was going to ask, how many more seats are left in this committee? How many more positions?
There's 2 more seats, so we're filling just seat number 5 and 6.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, have we fixed it yet? Okay. Okay, so I will now turn on the ballot. Are we ready, Brendan?
We'll give it a whirl.
Okay, just turn it on. Please cast your vote on round number 10.
My round 10 reflects 5 candidates. Is that correct?
No, it should only be candidate Philpott and candidate Alvarez. You're on the internal affairs tab, right?
Correct.
Okay. Is anyone else having that issue?
I'm having the
Yes,
same
I am
problem. There's
as well.
5.
Okay, everyone seems to be having that issue. So should I conduct a roll call vote, Brandon?
Give me 1 second. I think that if you just have them vote between one of the 2 candidates, it should still work. So
Okay, so can you please vote between candidate Philpott and candidate Alvarez?
I'm sorry, I actually don't have the option to select a candidate on my ballot right now. It's like there's no option, but there's names listed underneath.
All right, just go for a roll call.
Sure thing. Sorry for the technical issues. Alrighty, so again, we will be, please cast your vote between candidate Philpott and candidate Alvarez. Bakersfield.
Alvarez.
Let me see, so Carolina. Channel Islands.
Philpott.
Chico.
Alvarez.
Dominguez Hills.
Philpott?
Fresno.
Alvarez.
Fullerton.
Alvarez.
Humboldt.
Philpott.
Long Beach.
Philpott.
Maritime.
Alvarez.
Monterey Bay.
Philpott.
Candidate Northridge. I believe Northridge had to leave, so okay. Pomona.
Alvarez.
Sacramento.
Philpott.
San Bernardino.
Alvarez.
San Diego.
Philpott.
San Francisco.
Philpott.
San Jose.
Alvarez.
San Luis Obispo. Oh, San Luis Obispo just disconnected due to technical issues. San Marcos.
Alvarez.
Sonoma. Sonoma, sorry.
Philpott.
Stanislaus.
Alvarez.
Okay, please verify if the votes are correct. Okay. Let me see if because the member disconnected, so let me see if she's back. 1 second. So let me see. So Northridge is not here, and then slow disconnected. So just give me 1 moment. Okay. Okay, so since Slow is not here, we have 19 votes casted, with candidate Alvarez having received 10 votes. That is the majority, and candidate Alvarez has been elected to the 5th seat of the committee. Okay. So we'll go into round 11 for votes. 1 more seat.
Go ahead and do a roll call.
Round 11. So just please note, these are all the candidates remaining. So John Hickam, Dave Philpott, Virenya Gupta, and Dylan Crivello. Bakersfield,
Dave Philpott.
Channel Islands,
Dave Philpott.
Chico,
Candidate Crivello.
Dominguez Hills,
Dave Philpott.
Fresno,
Candidate Philpott.
Fullerton,
Dave Philpott.
Humboldt,
Candidate Philpott.
Long Beach,
Philpott.
Maritime, Maritime,
Candidate Hickam.
Monterey Bay,
Philpott.
Norfolk is absent, has left. Pomona,
Crivello.
Sacramento,
Philpott.
San Bernardino. Repeat that, please.
Dylan Carvalho.
San Diego,
Philpott.
San Francisco,
Philpott.
San Jose,
Crivello.
San Luis Obispo,
Candidate Philpott.
San Marcos,
Crivello.
Sonoma,
Philpott.
Stanislaus.
Crivello.
Okay, please verify if the vote is correct. Okay. With 20 votes casted, to receive a majority, a candidate must receive 11 votes. And we have a majority, so we will not proceed to runoff. Candidate Philpott has been elected to the 6th seat of the Internal Affairs Committee. All righty. We have concluded the elections process for the Internal Affairs Committee. Thank you all for going through that process. I will read off all of the candidates who have been elected so that we can verify. All right. So candidate Jamal Madalaka, candidate Ramos, candidate Young, candidate Castillo, candidate Alvarez, and candidate Philpott. Is there any objection to those members being appointed to the Internal Affairs Committee? Seeing none, those members have been appointed to the Internal Affairs Committee. Congratulations, and thank you all for going through that process with me. Okay. We will now move on, and before doing so, I will have to request another time extension. Let's see how many more elections. So we have just one more committee and then a quick info item. So I think 10 minutes, or we'll just do 15 minutes and we end early, So do I have a motion to extend the time by 15 minutes? Director Samaniego.
I move to extend the meeting time 15 minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second? Director Jackson?
A second.
All right, thank you. Is there any discussion? Seeing no Director Hickam, do you have a discussion point of discussion?
I believe possibly extending it to 20 minutes, just on the side of caution, would be advisable.
Okay, so do you want to make an amendment to that motion if that's what you want to do?
Yes, I wish to amend it to 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay, is there a second on that amendment? Director Jackson, do you second that amendment?
I second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Is there any objection to the amendment Director Hickam made to extend the time by 20 minutes? Seeing no objection, the amendment has been approved. We'll go back to the main motion. The motion on the floor is to extend the meeting time by 20 minutes. Is there any objection to that motion? Seeing none, the meeting time has been extended for another 20 minutes. Okay, so let's try to do it before then, but so we will now be proceeding to the election of the Student Trustee Committee. So I will take nominations for that committee. And just to confirm, there are 5 seats on that committee.
And I'll just reemphasize, if you are elected to the committee, you may not apply or serve as the 2022-2024 CSU student trustee.
Great, so I will now take nominations. Okay, Director Glorioso.
I would like to nominate Dylan Crivello from Cal State San Marcos.
Thank you. Director Young.
I'd like to nominate Member Davis of Pico.
Okay. Can you please say their first and last name when you guys are stating out their names? Thank you.
Yeah, Michelle Davis, sorry.
Thank you. And I see her raised hand. Great. Director Jackson.
I would like to nominate myself, DeAngelique Jackson.
Thank you. Director Bowens.
I would like to nominate Member Joshua Ochoa from San Francisco State.
Thank you. Director Moore.
I would like to nominate myself.
Thank you. Director Hickam.
I would like to nominate myself, John Hickam.
Thank you. Okay, are there any other further nominations by any director for the Student Trustee Committee? Okay, so we so we have 6 nominations and we have 5 seats, so we will have to proceed to an election. All right, so each candidate will be given 1 minute to speak as to their interest and qualifications for serving on the Student Trustee Committee. And we will go by candidate order. So candidate Crivello, you may begin.
Hello, everyone. Like earlier, my name is Dylan Crivello, ASI president from Cal State San Marcos, he, him, his. And I would love to serve on this committee to be able to really shape the future of the CSU and make sure that it is still accessible and affordable for all students. In my previous role before the presidency, I appointed people to committees, and I really had experience trying to see who would serve best on the committee to make sure the student voice is heard in those spaces where it often isn't. So I feel like I have the skills necessary to do really well on this committee and help select a great student trustee for this upcoming year. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Crivello. Candidate Davis, you may speak now. Candidate Davis, you may unmute yourself and speak for 1 minute. Oh, we have to permit her to speak. Okay, you may unmute yourself now.
Hi, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Davis, and I would like to serve on the Student Trustees Committee because I believe that I am a well-qualified candidate for this position and am very passionate about the work this committee does. Part of my job as Commissioner of Legislative Affairs at Chico State is to serve on hiring committees for the associated students, where we interview potential professional staff members. In order to prepare for this role, I took a course on biases within the hiring process. And I think that what I learned in this class is very valuable and would apply well to the work that the Student Trustees Committee does. As a member of this committee, I would aim to ensure that the process in which the student trustees are chosen is as fair and equitable as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Davis. Candidate Jackson, you may speak for 1 minute.
Hi, so my name is DeAngelique Jackson. As I stated earlier, I'm the president for the Fresno State ASI. In my other roles, I also serve as the first vice president for the California-Hawaii NAACP Youth and College Division, as well as the National Civic Engagement Trainer for the Youth and College Division of the NAACP. In my capacity for these roles, I did pass AB 963, the Student Civic and Voter Empowerment Act, which aims to uplift and educate all college students, including all that serve on or that are a part of our 23 campuses, about voting. So I believe that my experience in these roles will allow me to be a very good advocate for selecting the next trustee that we decide. So I just want to be able to bring this experience to this position and to help make sure that our CSU system reflects the needs and the diversity that all of our students make up.
Thank you, Candidate Jackson. Candidate Ochoa may now speak for 1 minute. Can we please unmute him? Thank you. You may mute yourself now.
Just really quick, would I be able to do video or no?
No, unfortunately, all attendees are speaking through through the voice.
Okay, that's fine. All right, hello everyone. My name is Joshua Ochoa. I'm the current AS president at San Francisco State. This is my 5th year in student government, but I most recently served as the AS vice president of external affairs last year, where I served on the CSSA board of directors. I served also as the vice chair of the CSSA internal affairs committee, so I know the procedures and the background information. I do have a lot of search committee experience where I served on the AS executive director search at our campus, and it was a successful one where we have now our ED for the past 2.5 years. Also serving on the director of students' rights and responsibilities search, so I have that experience as well. And I do understand firsthand the experience of the student trustee committee process. I do hope to make it more understandable and accessible process. And I've continued to push for greater student voices throughout university committees here at San Francisco State. So I hope to have your support. Thank you all.
Thank you, Candidate Ochoa. We'll now hear from Candidate Moore.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shaki Moore, and I'm the Vice President of External Relations for Associated Students at San Diego State. This is my first year in CSSA, but I really wanted to run for this position because I was inspired by a former student trustee, Mariana Kames, my freshman year, when she came and spoke about all the work that she had done within being a student trustee, as well as me being able to have served on different committees and hiring committees for faculty and staff at San Diego State. I really wanted to ensure that this is an equitable process and that we are making the best decision because we are representing so many different diverse students from different walks of life, ethnicities, backgrounds, everything. So I just really feel that I am qualified for this position and want to represent you all on this board.
Thank you, Candidate Moore. We'll hear from our final candidate, Candidate Hickam. You may speak for 1 minute.
Hello, everybody. I am serving this year as an as a Associate Students of California Maritime Academy event coordinator. But the previous year I served as a senator. And when I was a senator, I pushed heavily for our cadet population to have as much say in ASCMA as physically possible, and to make sure that the rights and privileges of all cadets were met and everything was upheld to a standard where people can feel safe, happy, and healthy in the community that they are learning in. And I seek to make sure that any trustees elected, they will do the same. We represent a huge and extremely diverse group of students from around the CSUs. And I simply want to make sure that the hiring process for the trustees is as equitable as possible. And I would really like to help in finding the best possible person to represent that very diverse coalition of students.
Thank you, Candidate
I
Hickam.
hope I can get you all a vote, and thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, so we have now heard from all of the candidates, and we will now proceed to voting. So please go to the elections ballot sheet, go to the trustee tab, and you will see in round 1 all of the candidates. Can you give me a thumbs up if you see all the candidates listed? Great, 6. Okay, so I will be opening the voting sheet now, so please cast your ballot. Okay, I'm waiting for, oh, no, East Bay's not here. I'm waiting for Long Beach to cast your vote. Can we please gray out East Bay and Northridge, please, in Los Angeles, because they're not here, but I'm waiting for Long Beach. Director Darwin? Oh, I think Director Darwin may have disconnected. Okay, so it appears we have all votes, so let me share my screen. So please verify the votes. Okay, so to have received a majority, a candidate must have received 10 votes. No candidate has received a majority of the vote. Therefore, the top two candidates having received the most votes will be heading to runoff election round 2. So that will be candidate Crivello having received 5 and candidate Jackson having received 8 votes. All right, so I will be opening up the ballot for round 2. Please cast your vote now. Maritime, please, and yeah. Just waiting for one more. Maritime Director Hakem, are you able to cast a vote? Okay, great.
Yes, I submitted my vote.
Thank you. Please verify the votes are correct. Okay. To receive a majority of the votes, you must have received 10 votes. Candidate Jackson has received 14 votes. Candidate Crivello has received 5 votes. Candidate Jackson has been elected to the committee. Okay, we'll go to round 3 now. So candidate Jackson is the first member of the student trustee committee. Alrighty, so I will close round 2 voting and we'll open round 3 voting, and you may now cast your vote. Okay, we are just missing Maritime, please cast your vote. Thank you. Please verify the votes are correct. Okay. To receive a majority, a candidate must have received 10 votes. Candidate Davis has received 13 votes.
That's incorrect. It miscounted.
What's, oh. Yeah, I think there's an issue with with it. Sorry, so we're in round 3 right now, yeah. Brandon?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Apologize, 1 moment, please. And just a reminder, please don't use the Zoom chat for anything like congratulations stuff. We just want to make sure everything we're saying is on the record. Okay. Is it correct now? Let's see.
Just go ahead and do a manual count.
Okay. So I'll do one, and if you could do one, and then we could verify.
One, I just wanted to bring it to your attention really quickly. Director Bowen has his hand raised.
Yes, Director Bowen.
I was just going to say, I think it might be beneficial, maybe if we could just move forward with like roll call votes, as much as like, I know that takes a bit, but I feel like this is taking a little bit longer and it's inaccurate. I just wanted to be like, make sure that we're getting like the right results for the.
Yeah, we'll do that, but let me just count this one. So. Okay, I don't think any candidate received a majority in this one, so but I'll continue counting to make sure we can proceed with the top 2. Okay. So sorry, Director Jackson, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to extend the meeting by another 15 minutes, or if that's okay. I'm not sure if it will take that long.
Is there a second? Director Finley?
A second.
Yes. Any discussion? No. Okay. Is there any objection to the is there any objection to extending the meeting time by 15 minutes?
I had raised my hand for discussion.
Yeah, go ahead, Director Bartendale.
I was just wondering what's going to be happening with our next meeting if we keep extending this meeting.
The System-Wide Affairs Committee will start late.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Any objection to the extension of the meeting by another 15 minutes? So that'll be from 2:35 to 2:50 at the latest. Okay. The meeting time has been extended. Okay. So by my count, Dylan candidate Crivello has received 8 votes. Candidate Ochoa has received 6 votes. Candidate Hickam has received 1 vote. Candidate Davis has received 3 votes. Candidate Moore has received 1 vote. Am I correct in that? Looking at staff. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I believe so.
Okay. No candidate has received the majority of the vote. So candidate Crivello and candidate Ochoa, I will place you in round 4 runoff, and we'll do a roll call vote for this one. So if you could set that up, please. Candidate Hickam, did you have a question? Director Hickam, did you have a question? Thank you. Okay. Let me I'll just do a roll call vote for this. For Josh, it still says 6 votes for round 4 in the tally. I want to make sure it's tallying correctly.
Yeah, just ignore the vote right now. Just
okay, so the vote now is between candidate Crivello and candidate Ochoa. When I call your candidates, please state who you're voting for. Bakersfield.
Crivello.
Channel, and let me share my screen so you all can see. Channel Islands,
Crivello.
Chico,
Candidate Crivello.
Dominguez Hills,
Ochoa.
Fresno, Fresno,
Canada Ochoa,
Fullerton,
Candidate Ochoa,
Humboldt,
Candidate Creveo.
Maritime,
Director Creveo.
Monterey Bay,
Crivello.
Northridge, Pomona,
Crivello.
Sacramento,
Ochoa.
San Bernardino,
Crivello.
San Diego,
Reveal.
San Francisco,
Ochoa,
San Jose,
Ochoa.
San Luis Obispo,
Ochoa.
San Marcos,
Crivello.
Sonoma,
Ochoa.
Stanislaus.
Crivello.
Okay, with 19 votes cast to receive a majority, one must have received 10 votes. Candidate Crivello, having received 11 votes, has received the majority and has been elected to the second seat, or yeah, the second seat on the Student Trustee Committee. Thank you. Alrighty, we will now proceed to round number 5. And we will, Brandon, is the vote tabulation working or should I just continue with roll call?
Just continue with roll call.
Okay. So as you can see, there are 4 candidates, Candidate Davis, Ochoa, Moore, and Hickam. Please, when I call your campus, state your vote. Bakersfield,
Ochoa.
Channel Islands,
Joshua Ochoa.
Chico,
Davis.
Dominguez Hills,
Ochoa.
Fresno,
Ochoa,
Fullerton,
Ochoa,
Humboldt,
Ochoa.
Maritime,
Ochoa.
Monterey Bay,
Hickam.
Pomona,
Ochoa.
Sacramento,
Ochoa.
San Bernardino. Could you please repeat that?
Joshua Ochoa.
Thank you. San Diego,
Moore.
San Francisco,
Ochoa,
San Jose,
Ochoa.
San Luis Obispo,
Ochoa.
Sonoma, San Marcos, sorry.
Ochoa.
San Marcos, Sonoma,
Ochoa.
Stanislaus.
Davis.
Okay. Again, 10 is the number for majority. Candidate Ochoa, having received 15 votes, and therefore the majority, has been elected to the 3rd seat on the Student Trustee Committee. Okay, so we'll put into round 6, Michelle Davis, Shockey Moore, and John Hickam. Okay, so while that's being, oh, well, Brandon, do you want me to put it in, Brandon, or are you doing it? Okay.
Yeah, for the future ones, you can just put them in.
Okay, so we're just taking, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So from this list, so please cast your vote for either candidate Davis, candidate Moore, or candidate Hickam. Bakersfield,
Davis.
Channel Islands,
Michelle Davis.
Chico,
Davis.
Dominguez Hills,
Davis.
Fresno,
Moore,
Fullerton,
Moore,
Humboldt,
Moore.
Maritime,
Hickam.
Monterey Bay,
Hickam.
Pomona,
Davis.
Sacramento,
Moore.
San Bernardino,
Moore.
San Diego,
Moore.
San Francisco,
More.
San Jose,
Moore.
San Marcos. I'm sorry, San Luis Obispo,
Moore.
San Marcos,
Davis.
Sonoma,
Moore.
Stanislaus.
Davis.
To receive a majority, candidate must have received 10 votes. Please verify the vote is correct. Okay. Candidate Moore, having received 10 votes, has received the majority of the votes. So candidate Moore has been elected to the 4th seat on the Student Trustee Committee. Okay. Last round. So your candidates are candidate Davis and candidate Hickam. Bakersfield.
Sorry, what was the first name? Moore?
So no, so candidate Moore has been elected. So
Oh,
in
okay,
the
sorry.
final round, we have candidate Michelle Davis and candidate John Hickam.
Yes, Davis.
Channel Islands,
Michelle Davis.
Chico,
Davis.
Dominguez Hills,
Michelle Davis.
Fresno,
Davis.
Fullerton,
Davis.
Humboldt,
Davis.
Maritime,
Hickam.
Monterey Bay,
Hickam.
Pomona,
Davis.
Sacramento,
Davis.
San Bernardino,
Davis.
San Diego,
Davis.
San Francisco,
Davis.
San Jose,
Davis.
San Luis Obispo,
Davis.
San Marcos,
Davis.
Sonoma,
Davis.
Stanislaus.
Davis.
Alrighty, again, 10 votes is the majority. Candidate Davis, having received 17 votes, has been elected to the 5th and final seat of the Student Trustee Committee. Alrighty, we are officially done electing. Let me read off those who have been elected and we will confirm and move on. So, candidate Jackson, candidate Crivello, candidate Ochoa, candidate Moore, and candidate Davis. Do I have any objection to the appointment of those individuals to the Student Trustee Committee? Seeing no objection, those individuals have been appointed to the Student Trustee Committee. Congratulations, and we are done with elections. Thank you all for your patience. Now let's try to finish the meeting in 4 minutes and moving on to our final item. New business item E, information on the CSSA constitutional amendments. So I will be providing some information regarding the pending changes to the CSSA Constitution. So the reason why we are doing this is to provide some context. The 2020-2021 CSSA Internal Affairs Committee made some recommendations to the board last year on suggested amendments to the Constitution, which was considered by last year's Board of Directors at their final May meeting. However, due to a clerical error, some of the amendments recommended by the Internal Affairs Committee were not included in the version of the Constitution the board considered. Therefore, those recommendations are now being brought before you all. In just a moment, I will share my screen to go over the recommended amendments with you. You can also find the document in the BOD number 1 folder. And afterwards, I will take clarifying questions only. We will take action on these amendments at our next board meeting on Sunday. Okay. So I will scroll down because there's just very few amendments. So you're not going to notice anything until you see the yellow highlight. So I'm just going to keep scrolling so you can see. And I will just only be presenting on the amendments. Okay, So the amendments is to the part this article for special officers, simply removing the sustainability officer and the social justice and equity officers. And below here, it's just removing their description. And those are all of the amendments. So basically, we never approve a constitution and have it be effective, that same board. However, this is a different circumstance. It was due to a clerical error. These changes were supposed to be in the constitution the last board considered in May. However, again, like I said, due to clerical error, it was not. So is there anyone have any clarifying questions on what I just presented? Okay. Yes, Director Finley.
Thank you. We're going to be discussing this more in depth at our next board of directors meeting, is what you're saying.
Correct. Yeah, this is only an information item just so that you all can see. And then I also encourage you to look to go over the Constitution before Sunday, but we will be discussing this more in depth on Sunday. So this is just information.
Okay, great. I guess just to ask this question to you also, to give you some heads up before moving in, I'm just wondering, like, was there any additional context, and like if we could have that context for the meeting on Sunday to kind of give some explanation around why? Because I'm confused. I don't know why. So it'd be cool to have that.
Yes, let's go ahead and have that conversation on Sunday. But for now, are there any other clarifying questions on processes or anything like that? And I'm sure Member Samaniego, our Director Samaniego, since you're a part of that committee, you'll be able to provide context as well during discussion, as well as myself and staff. Okay, so are there any clarifying questions? Okay, so seeing no clarifying questions, we have concluded the business of the Board of Directors. I adjourn the meeting at 2:45 p.m. right on time.